God, look at that. Sunlight and oil stains. Where are all the minis coming to die? Or get fixed, in this case. Right guys, well, welcome to another episode of the Rusty Clubman. So we have an M machine panel there. This is just minor, kind of, they have an oil on them, so if the oil wears off, it's got a minor bit of surface rust on that panel, so we'll get that cleaned up. But let's have a nicer look in daylight of what we have, or what we don't have. Yeah, so I'm pretty confident up to about there. It's pretty solid. This doesn't seem to be any rut from there. From the inner door bin, it looks lovely, but obviously further back it's gone completely. If anyone knows how these cars go together, that panel's up under there between two support panels behind this. We don't really want to touch this. I mean, the car's not mint, you know, it's got a little bit of crack in there and stuff like that. Kind of needs doing, but it's not something we want to do quite yet. So I'm hoping to bring the new panel basically up to there, and retain the original anchor, so we can weld along here, round that, all of this, take all of that out completely, get rid of all that rubbish, and then the new panel comes up. So what's left of it, there's your first flute, so you can kind of see there's your first flute. Oh, this is so we'll cut past that flute, so we'll get rid of all of that, and we'll come in the middle here for the panel, and all that there is nice. You can see the rest of the car is very, very good underneath, but we'll get to that point there, I think, and cut. So yeah, moving forward, and the panel I think might not cover where you can see the carpet. I think we're going to have to come a lot further back, so I'm going to have to make a piece for the back here, but that shouldn't be too bad. So you can actually see up inside there, you can actually see there's all the yellow from the door bin, which is actually all incredibly solid. You can see where my little finger is there. That's nice shiny blue up the back. You can kind of see it. But yeah, we'll get there. I'm just looking across at the other side, and oh no. Focus this side first, Mark. Focus. But yeah, we'll start getting this cut out. Once I've gone past this flute, I feel like this car's going to look a lot better. And then we can start mocking that panel up. So let's get cutting, let's get the worst of it out. Got to strip some of the interior out first, so that's the first point of call. Remember guys, if you haven't already, please subscribe to this channel. We've got loads of content like this coming, loads of very, very exciting things in the pipeline. Emails bouncing backwards and forwards with various people and companies, and things are really, really going to be quite exciting this year for 2022. We're going to make up for all the COVID lap of going to shows and doing things, and we're really going to smash this channel. So please subscribe to the channel, give this video a thumbs up. But for me, let's get the disc cutter out. Right, so now you can really see the extent. So when I peeled the carpet back, you can see a long line. It just took all the floor with it. Yeah, that's quite fragile. But where the new panel comes to, basically comes to there. So that kind of line there, this is where the new panel comes up to. So you can probably see at the back there, it's completely gone. The door bin's kind of floating. Right. So what we'll do, we'll get the cutter, we'll just cut all the way, we'll use that whole panel, and I think I'm going to have to make a bit up at the back in the corner there. The floor here, obviously for you guys, can't really see, it's actually wet, so obviously it's been leaking a little bit. So I've moved all the battery out of the way, I pulled up the door bin there, you can see all that stuff. I'm going to move that door card out of the way because this interior is quite rare and it's in very, very good condition, it just needs a good clean. So I don't want to damage anything, but yeah, lovely colour, I love teal blue. Really, really nice. Yeah, so I just can't believe without any gloves, it's so wet, it feels so moist that the metal, it just flakes away. So we'll get cutting. Like I said, I don't know how far we're going to go with, you know, regards to the bracing and stuff like that, because this here all needs to go, but there's sections that are okay. So the seat cross member will probably end up staying attached to all this, and I'll just put the new panel in around it. That way you keep the rigidity of the car. These BL cars are a lot better made than the later cars, and I'm not saying that because I'm trying to slate them. I own a later car. I love them just the same, but they're actually they are a lot, the steel is a lot thicker, and it can take a lot more kind of punishment, if you know what I mean. So the new panel as well will come through here. So I'm going to tap that down there because it looks like it's been jacked up there at some point. But all of this is just so like that's, I think it's paint. So it's a bit, it almost feels like paper. It's really weird. But yeah, that just fills up. I think a lot of it's glue from the carpet and stuff like that. So there's a lot of seam sealer there. So you can see the ground, which you shouldn't be able to see the ground through there. So there we go. Hello. So yeah, bare bones are out now. Let's get cutting. Let's get it out. So while we're on the subject of the lovely teal blue colour, paints for you. We used them when we did the Cooper project for James. So the racing green we got all mixed up, and they're really good. They're great on the phone. And I said to him, I want to keep it original as possible. So this is straight away. This is like a direct gloss paint. So it'll be as it was done back in the day. So you'll see there we've got a glacier white. So that's for my Clubman. And for Pete Mate, we've got some teal blue. Jump ahead of the gun a bit, but I thought if we've got it in stock, it's a good incentive to get going with it. Obviously I'll prep it and do everything I should, but they mix it to the right colour of the car. They know the era of the car, and this is to blow in the seals. So once the seals are on the car, we'll blow in the floors to match that, and touch ups on the floor paint and stuff like that. So yeah, really happy with that. So cheers paints for you, Epic company. We'll be using you with all these builds because I just love how this paint applies. It's really, really good. Right, so quick progress report. You know it's a big job breaking out when you've got to get the bracing out. So I've put that in just purely as a safety precaution. So you can see the worst of it's now cut out. You can kind of roughly see where the new panel's going to go. All this is nice and solid. I just need to trim the rest of the floor back from underneath it. And yeah, this is where it looks quite bad. You can see we've had to go a bit further up at the back there just to be able to get the rot right out. So all this is now really, really nice metal. So obviously it looks like it's moving quite a bit, but it's actually obviously still attached. The heel board at the back is actually in really good shape. Quite shocked. Obviously the same is in there. It's all cut out. So looking at the underside, we are kind of getting there. All I've got to cut out now is this piece here, which is the last bit of the big part of the rot. So all I've got to cut out now is this bit here, which is the last bit of the rot, which is just under the box section, but all the rest is cut out. You can see that that's the door bin, so I need to make a new bit of the lip up to the bottom because it's rotted away. Basically there is the bit that's rotted away, but all this is actually solid. It looks absolutely crap, so I'm going to make a new flange for it to go around and fold around the new floor. Obviously we need to trim all this back, but I've actually decided to leave this in for a sec because it's making this panel, the whole door step, a bit longer, because there's actually 3 layers here where they've not taken the original one off, so it's giving this way more structure, and obviously that team with a bit of brace it definitely has. So look at the bits that I found. So this was the bit of the inner sill that was attached. So this bit here is the original inner seal, and this is like, I think it's galvanized, so it's probably not the best thing I've had to breathe in, but you can tell by it's gone all flaky, or it's just really poorly prepped steel, I'm not sure. But that looked good from the inside, didn't it? That looked smart, but it was covering that. So this is the floor, so this is quite the interesting bit. So obviously that used to sit there, and if you picture quite how far, that's where the overseal stopped, so you can see that. So that bit's folded over. There's a patch here, there's a patch here, it's just completely made up of it, but when you look from the inside it just looks a bit crusty. You can't actually see, you can just about see a weld line there, but it didn't look half as bad from the top. It just shows what's hidden, but none of that was painted, look. So all this was protected inside that overseal, because you can just see how the rot's expanded, and the last big good bit of their metal that they put in is there, and you can see that's a good 2 inches of rot, and you can see the old weld line where the cover seal was. So all of this is going to go in the bin now, and it's time. We're not far away, so all I've got to do now is just trim away some of the excess bit of the floor there, tidy up the bottom of this, repair the door bin, and we can start cutting the new panel up to get fitted in there. So obviously I'll make this wavy line a bit straighter, so it's easier to weld, and then a lot of this can be welded from the top, which is lovely, because I hate welding upside down. Ignore the big speaker wire. That goes into the bin, and then there's some retro speakers that are in the back, which is pretty cool. So yeah, we're going to straighten this up. This is really good solid steel, it's really nice. It's just lovely and shiny and really decent. There's no rust, it's all covered down the seal, so I can just clean that back and it looks really, really good. So happy with that. This is really good as well. So like I said, I won't take all of this out. So seatbelt anchors there, so you can see my feet, look at that. So my seat anchor's there, so this is actually really, really good here. So what I'm going to do is cut out the last of the repair that goes along there and take that out. Then all the rot's gone, then all the bodges are gone, all the rot's gone, so it's really good progress. So it's another good few hours on this car, cutting all the rust out. So you just seen then how many repairs had happened. So this car is actually 50 years old this year. So like I've said to you, overseals or cover seals, they're not very good in the sense that they do hide all that. But this car wouldn't have lasted 50 years if someone back then for its MOT didn't put that seal on to keep it on the road for another 20 years or whatsoever. So it happens, unfortunately. It does just happen, and it's one of them. They're bad, but they've kept the cars alive for a good few more years, so we can get hold of them and repair them properly. I'll say we, people like us that are into our restorations. So Pete said his progress report. We're going to get that new panel trimmed up. We've got to tidy back the car quite a bit. There's a bit of a repair to that door bin, and then we can start really trimming that new panel up and try and start getting it in. So once that's in, get the seal on, obviously cavity paint, and then that's that done. The other side, I'm looking at it going, it didn't look that bad, but the actual front inner seal looks quite bad on that side, so we might have to have a trim of that. But like mentioned, this is a kind of get this car back on the road. It's not a full restoration, but it's a car that is very much loved, and it needs to stay on the road and be as solid as possible. So like always, if you haven't already, please subscribe to this channel. There's loads more coming on this car. Obviously the 89's front end is about to go on, and we've just got the paint for our Clubman, so we've got loads of bits and pieces going on now. So yeah, give this video a thumbs up, comment below if you've enjoyed this video, and the next episode we'll be trimming the new panel up and getting it all tacked in, and might as well get it welded in if we can. So that's the next episode. So the next one might be a biggie, get that in, and then we'll get the paint all on it and then get the seal going. So next episode will be fresh metal, hopefully. Catch you soon guys, thank you for watching.